Okay, what we're going to talk about today is kind of why most law firms don't actually know their best clients and how we can solve that problem. So, most law firm owners think they know who their best clients are, but in reality, they don't. And this is a misunderstanding that it can quietly wreck marketing, it can wreck pricing, and it can wreck time and energy. So, when I ask firm owners who their best clients are, I usually get answers like, and it's kind of mockingly, but it's there's also a little truth to it as well. So, the ones who pay, the ones who don't complain, the ones who refer people. So, one, pays on time. I would argue that yes, that's one of the best clients. Two, doesn't complain. Again, yes, that's some of the best clients. Three, the ones who refer people. So let's just say refer others. Yes, that's a good. None of these are wrong, but they're just incomplete on actually who that best client is completely. Now, because those traits they don't tell you why the client is good for your firm, or they really don't tell you how to get more of them. Because if you just know, oh, clients pay on time, that's not enough information. This is not enough on its own. So most firm owners, they only remember clients emotionally. So the stressful ones stand out. The bad cases stand out. Oh, I don't want another one of those cases, or I don't want another client like that. But here's the thing: memory is not a system. You are a law firm owner now. You cannot you cannot react based on what you remember, your memory. You are building a business. So yes, the practice of law is important, but you must have a system in place where you can identify and repeat getting more clients, getting more of the clients that you actually want. Now, so what happens is you start making decisions based on frustration, memory, instead of facts. You play around with pricing. So you play around with pricing. I'm not going to write all that down, but pricing. You play around with marketing. You change intake. Phew, that's some bad writing. But you get the idea. You, based on frustration, based on memory, you play around with this stuff. You don't really know why, except that you had a bad experience recently and it's stuck in your mind. Now, your best client is not just someone who pays, believe it or not. Your best client, it sits at the intersection of four things. Now, I debated on how I was going to present this and just decided now I'm going to do it in a quadrant because I think it really illustrates how to think about this. So we're going to have quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, 1 pays well. Like I said, it's important, but it's not the only thing that matters. So we got quadrant 2. We got minimum friction. So think of here like low stress. The client was easy to deal with, listen to you. The case was not that difficult. You were able to handle it confidently. So that's what I mean by the friction here. Now, number 3, predictable outcome. Is it the type of case that you have systems in place for? That once a client comes to you, you know specifically that what your steps are on how to handle that type of case, and it's very predictable. Client hires you, boom, 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 and then the representation is over. So how predictable is the type of case? 4 is comes from a repeatable source. Now, this last one I want to circle. So, number 4 here, this is the one most firm owners miss. Where did this client come from? And if you can't answer that consistently, you don't actually know who your best client is. Now, what a lot of firms do right is they will ask, and how did you hear about us? And again, they'll make these mental checks. Okay, it seems like most people are finding us through Facebook or through Google, through Instagram, through TikTok, maybe for some of you. But if I were to ask you, okay, if you can't tell me what percentage of somebody's finding you through your best source, so 52% of our clients are finding us through Google. If you're not able to answer that question, or at least know where to look to find that answer quickly, then you have not done this properly. So again, a lot of people do the first step right. They'll ask their clients, how'd you hear about us? But they don't do that second part for that and actually track it. So that's a big thing for this, but that's number 4 here. Now, here's the exercise. I'm gonna actually get a new sheet here. Now we're gonna refer back to this quadrant right here, but right now I'm gonna go right into the next exercise. So the goal of this, I want to complete it in under 30 minutes. Crazy, right? Yep. You can get a lot more clarity in just very focused 30 minutes of work. So here's what we're going to do. At the top of your page, you're going to write the last 10 clients. Now, if you did our last exercise in our last video, then you've already done kind of a version of this. This is a little different, and you're looking at more in-depth stuff. So it's kind of piggybacks off that. So what you're going to do, you are going to list out your clients, your last 10. Now, I will tell you this, if you want to go further into your last 20, your last 30, even better. So, and it's something too, you can start tracking moving forward as well. So it keeps building and building. You are going to literally write their name first. So you're going to have 4. So if you're doing this on an Excel spreadsheet, you're going to have 4. Their name. All right, second thing you're going to do, how'd they find you? So you're going to write just how they found you. All right. 3, fees collected. How much money did they pay you? 4 is your stress level. Yes, that matters. Stress level. Think about this one as like low, mid, high. You can get more in depth if you want. Low, medium. But this is the simplest way. Just low, medium, high stress. Now, so I'm going to go through an example here. So let's say John Doe. And let's say John Doe, he found you through, let's say, Google. It was a $5,000 case. That's how much money you collected from him. And it was a low stress level case. Awesome. Now, what you're going to usually find is the more you do this, or when you start doing this the first time, and the more data you get, 10, you'd be surprising at how much you can learn just doing this for 10 clients. But you're going to learn that a small number of those clients, they actually paid well. They were easy to work with. They had low stress level, and they came from the same place. Something that you can target and repeat. Now, let's go back before we move on to, I want to go back to this quadrant here, just so you guys can get just a basic understanding on what we're thinking of here for best clients. So, based on this, you are going to figure out your best clients who pay well, have minimum friction, predictable outcomes. Again, number 2 and 3 are both kind of measures of stress level. So they are your stress level indicators, I guess you can say. And then number 4 comes from a repeatable source. You want to find a client that meets all of those. That's your best client. How are you going to find out who that is? You are going to go through this exercise that we just went through, and you're going to find your patterns. Now, if you don't know this stuff, if you're just like, hey, Zach, that's fine, I don't need to know this, you're going to end up doing 3 things wrong. And I'll just go through them here. So you're going to market to everyone. Nobody's going to know specifically who you're talking to, who you're targeting, or who your firm is for. You're just going to be have a blanket statement such as criminal defense attorneys, personal injury attorney. You're not going to be able to market to that specific person, and again, that's going to lead to bad case fit and, of course, high stress levels. Number 2, you're going to take bad cases. Again, it's going to lead to bad case fit and higher stress levels. 3, you're going to underprice good work. You're going to play around with pricing. You're going to play around with these numbers without having data, and it's going to end up in underpricing good work. None of those problems are fixed. So boom, 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 by just more hustle. You can't grind your way out of this. How these are fixed is with clarity, by getting specific on what you want out of your firm, getting specific who you're targeting, and knowing specifically why you want more of those cases. Now, if you take nothing else from this, until you know exactly who your best clients are and really where they came from, every growth decision, it's going to be a guess. So your best clients, you're going to find out. They're going to meet 3 categories. They're going to be identifiable. When somebody asks you, who's your best clients, you're going to be able to say specifically, these are my best clients because of such and such. You're not just going to make blanket statements, oh, the ones who pay, stuff like that. 2, so that's 1. 2, identifiable, repeatable. Is there a process or a system in place where you can repeat not only the outcome of those cases, but getting those cases, getting more? Can you turn up a dial just a little bit so you can get more of those cases? 3, profitable. Revenue's good, but you need profits. So you're going to find your best clients are going to end up being those 3. Now, in the next video, I'm going to break down how to use this information to decide where not to spend your time and money. Again, this is all about clarity. So, hey, if you guys got any value from this, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. It shows me that you're actually watching and that you're getting something out of this. So if you subscribe, like the video, it just helps. All right, guys, I'll see you in that next video.